the grace of God that your enemy, then let's take that leap of faith. You make me brave.
Thank you so much.
So, song one, and I've already broken the rule that I said I was going to do the other day. I told Charlie the other day, I'm going to sit beside you and I'm not going to sing along. Yep, failed in the first song. No, I just mouthed it, that's all. Okay. So, got some chat portion now. Let's tell these lovely people all about you. Shall we?
All about me.
All about you. So, let's go way back to the start, because you're not a Nashville native.
I am not a Nashville native.
You're originally from...
I'm originally from Kansas. Well, was born in Portland, Oregon, so...
So you're a bit of a gypsy?
All over the place, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what was the thought behind moving all the way from Kansas to Nashville to pursue music? Because it was Nashville that you studied music, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I had done a kind of an EP in high school that didn't really go anywhere. It was kind of, I mean, it was... As a teenager, we kind of, well, a lot of us learned to sing through mimicry. So as a teenager, it was kind of mimicry. It was not my own voice. It was my own voice, but it was mimicking other artists that I sound nothing like. They're a little twangier than I am, or a little gruffer than I am. So I started there, and then had all intents and purposes of going to San Diego and becoming a marine biologist with a specialty as a veterinarian. Yeah. And then happened to visit Nashville on spring break, where I popped into Belmont University and found out that I could get a degree in commercial voice. It didn't have to be something classical. It didn't have to be, theory or education. I could do contemporary music, which was mind-blowing to me at the time. And I kind of took off from there. I entered into Belmont. So for those of you that don't know, Belmont University is a very big music school in the States. And from there, I entered into their country showcase. As a freshman, I got in with the likes of like Russell Dickerson, and my voice is like this tonight.
Yeah, that's an interesting maneuver.
Yeah.
I'll go the other way.
Yeah, okay.
It'll just sound like we're playing off each other.
Right. I like the Russell Dickerson and Jordan Kyle Reynolds, who has written songs like Tequila and, yeah, you know.
So Dan and Shay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a freshman, I got in out competing something like 400 submissions. And just the four of us, I don't remember the fourth. But
so, when we look at going away to what we call university and college in this country, we are looking at the fact that somebody from Dumfries will go to like Edinburgh, Glasgow, Stirling, or Aberdeen if they're staying in Scotland. But if they're going down south, it's slightly different because it's a wee bit further. How far away is Kansas from Nashville?
It's about an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, you could fall off the edge of Britain if you drove for 8 hours here.
Yeah, it's you do kind of have to hook over the top, but it's an 8-hour drive.
So what age were you when you made that decision to leave home? Because I take it you left everything behind. I actually know this story. I'm going to make it out like I don't. So I take it you had to leave everything behind.
I did. And
your family, your friends, and just...
all of it.
Head all the way across. Does that come across in your songwriting as well? That is there a loss involved in that? Were you happy about leaving everything behind?
I had mixed feelings for sure. I was 18 at the time and had never known anything but small town Kansas. You know, my memories of Portland are very small, so I didn't know much other than that. So going to what is... Nashville's not a big city, but it's a larger city. And going from that to that was a very big shift that I didn't really know that I needed. I'm somebody that kind of set out in, I don't remember what it was in, but in high school we went through history and had we talked all about the Renaissance era. And I had this desire as a high schooler to become a Renaissance man, which is somebody who paints and sings and writes and does math and all that. And so I kind of decided at an early age I was going to try and pick up as many traits as I could, or fascinations, whatever my passing fascinations were. And so I found Nashville definitely very different, just because I was living directly in the city instead of living like an hour and a half outside of it.
And of course, when you were in Belmont, that's when you came across some strange Scottish man who found your music online and got in touch with you because he wanted to use your music and play your music and do an interview with you on his radio show, which at the time was called A Live Country.
It was.
And yeah, that was, I mean, how long ago was that now? That was about, you would be about 18 at the time.
No.
Yeah.
What year was that?
What age are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay, it might have been 10 years ago.
I was like, no, I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll tell you in a minute. I will know in just a minute, actually, because you're going to play.
2013.
Yeah, it was 2013, so it was 9 years ago. Because you knew the reason the same as I did there. So, okay, do you want to do another song and we'll chat a bit more?
Yeah. It's you have the set list here. You were telling me what I'm playing.
Are you going by that? Oh, sorry, I need to go in my back pocket a second.
Like, what am I playing, Ali?
Well, I didn't. You told me earlier it wasn't in order.
No.
So I just get to pick.
Yeah, you get to pick.
Oh,
Ali at the jukebox here.
The power, the unadulterated power. I think that we should go with Just Another Late Night.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll go with the next single. We will do that. I'm going to tuck my capo here. Reckless, we might have been, we were fearless. 'Cause back then we didn't care that we would be growing older, playing with aches and age. Maybe time made us bolder, and young love can't help but fade away. But still you end up in my place every single time. I'm always coming back my way. No one will hold you tight. I still leave space for you, though I should make room for someone that will love me right. Not just another late night. Tired, but I can't sleep, you're leaving me wired. Just trying to get a handle on the way that you need to use me. God, I must be insane. Somehow you phase right through the walls that I think I've made. Yeah, still you end up in my place every single time. You're always coming back my way when no one will hold you tight. I still leave space for you, though I should make room for someone that will love me right. Not just another late night, please. Leave the keys with me next time you run. 'Cause I need to close the door on us. But still you end up in my place every time. You're always coming back my way. When no one will hold you tight, I still leave space for you, though I should make room for someone that will love me right. Yeah, I need someone that will love me right. Not just another late night, yeah. Not just another late night. Thank you. Just about sent my pick flying.
Yeah. So that's Just Another Late Night, due for release in...
Probably next month, or early June. We shot an album cover. It's not quite done. The song is done, but we just got to do all the PR things that are really, really fun.
Administration. This is why
my
we should
favorite part of creativity.
We should be British. British love administration. That's something we're very good at.
Valid.
So just another late night. Go on then, give us the backstory. Where did you come from with that?
So I wrote Just Another Late Night. I left Kansas. I guess this tells you how far from Kansas I'd gone. I left Kansas engaged at the age of 18, and kind of fell out with my ex-fiance, and we just kept kind of giving it another try and giving it another try and giving it another try, another, over and over and over again. And it just came from a need to, like, it just detach. And as I wrote, find somebody that'll love me, right? Because it was toxic and it was just bad on both fronts. So.
Well, I'm glad I brought that up then, aren't you? They say country music's about real stories. Apparently miserable stories, but there's real stories all the same.
Most country songs are about miserable stories.
Yeah, you got to think of the Dave Allan Coe song. Yeah, you never even call me by my name, because there is the line in that he speaks. It says that there's nothing talking about mum, trucks, trains, getting drunk, or going to prison. Right. And that is, outside of that, heartbreak and Jesus, then that makes country music.
Yeah.
3 chords of the truth.
The whiskey, well, I guess a bar, but.
Yeah, well, getting drunk, so. Yeah. It's 3 chords of the truth, isn't it? Yeah. So what?
Yes. Sorry, I said yes.
That's okay.
I keep leaning away from this microphone. I might scoot it over a little bit.
You think he does this for a living?
You would think.
So.
It's almost like I haven't done it for like 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
No, I've been doing shows, but COVID was a lovely
that was an interesting time for all of us, really. It was. So, obviously, with the sound that you have, and with the contemporary form of country that we're looking at now, right. You do fit into that not the bro country mold, obviously, because that's all country rap, and we'll not say what we call that because there's kids in the room.
Yes. Yes.
But you do fall into very much the modern genre of country music.
Yes.
So was that always the way you went to go? What was the country music that hooked you? Was it just being in Nashville, or? No,
I remember very early on. My dad was a huge Jim Croce fan, who I guess is not technically country, but it's singer-songwriter-y. He was also a huge fan of the Dixie Chicks, not going by the Chicks. And my sister, I tried really hard to rebel against country music, as any, strong-minded youth will do, and dipped into things, like Green Day and the kind of pop-punk world at the time. And it wasn't until, I guess, I found, my sister got into, more of the pop country, contemporary country world. She was a huge Rascal Flatts fan, and again, I resisted that for a really long time until I stumbled upon a Keith Urban song. And Keith is very much a genre alchemizer like myself. Keith likes to try the new thing and stay current and have fun with his music and production. And at the time, what was popular outside of country music was kind of pop punk rock, So I stumbled in on Be Here, which is, Days Go By and Making Memories of Us, things like that. And that was the first country album I actually bought, was Be Here. And in fact, it was on I had to re-download it the other day because my copy that I had copied into iTunes back in 2008 had been played so many times that the song skipped. It couldn't transfer over to iTunes without it being a corrupt file. So I went along with this corrupt file of Keith Urban for so long, then I was like, I should probably dip into Apple Music and grab another version of this. But that was really my first dipping of the toes into country music. And from there, I did end up going back to things like Rascal Flatts and Dixie Chicks, and I got an early copy of the first Lady Antebellum album, and I wore that out as well. So it was kind of these people who were doing country and living in country, but were still defining their own sound and not necessarily going with the trends, or kind of create, because this was pre-Dan and Shay and all these things that are now that sound, but really defining and etching out their own pathway through country music.
Yeah, I mean, those artists that you mentioned there, they were the ones that pretty much changed the roadmap of country music to what we're at today. And we did have a conversation yesterday about, within country, there's so many genre specific. So you've got country rock, you've got country pop,
Outlaw.
yeah, you know, country rap. No, which we're still not saying what we call that. No, but it's to find a niche within that market, because we were saying yesterday that genres don't really exist now.
Yeah, there's been this really aggressive push from artists, especially like top 40 artists, to stop genre classification. I understand why we do it, but there's just I think that music has become so much of like all of us listening to everything at all times. So, you know, it is this melting pot of music that has now become somewhat genreless because
Oh, sorry about that.
it's okay. Because, you know, everyone listens to everything. And it's when you go to be an artist and define what sound makes you and what brought you to where you are, it's hard to be like, I'm only going to pull this one string when you have a whole tapestry of music in front of you. And I think that's why genres are kind of going the wayside, or that's the hope anyway. I mean, look at events like Coachella or whatever. You know, they've had acts from, like one year they had Beyonce and Casey Musgraves and like Thomas, all these different people on the lineup, and it's just like this blend of different genres that I think is becoming modern music.
I think it's interesting what you say about defining as well, because to me you have a defining song that totally sold me on you as an artist, and it was, for a long time, it was my alarm tone in the morning. It still is one of my favourite songs, and we'll discuss that a little bit further later on. Okay. Because I have a question about that. So, without looking at my phone, because I don't have it anymore, so my babysitter was phoning, that I wonder if we can do some Jericho.
We can do some Jericho. Slow it down.
I'll just escape just for 1 second.
Yes. While Ali vacates the stage. If you listen to this song, it's normally played on piano. It has a cello, it's really nice. I know times are hard, Jericho, there's no easy way out. But through the dark came a spark, and he calmed your fear and your doubt. Oh, just a look was all it took, and he had your heart in his hand. Head over heels, you'd finally know what it feels to give love a chance. When you let him in, you let him win. Let him crawl down deep under your skin. Too tough to break, too strong to crack. Still you prayed one day he'd love you back. But Jericho, why don't you see there's a world outside the place that you call security? And girl, I know the pain's too much to bear, so you built up your defenses and ain't letting anybody near. I know it hurts to fall and let those feelings go, but won't you bring walls, Jericho. See, I can tell you've been through hell by the way you're dragging it around. No wings to fly, you believed every lie and came crashing down. How could he see all you were meant to be? And all he wanted was to remain free. Too wild to break and too far off track. Still you prayed one day he'd love you back. But Jericho, why don't you see? There's a world outside the place that you call security. And girl, I know the pain's too much to bear. So you've built up your defenses and ain't letting anybody near. I know it hurts to fall and let those feelings go. Yeah, he hurt you bad, then left you all alone. But won't you bring down your walls, Jericho? Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face, and tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Just a little Coldplay at the end.
Cheeky. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
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 Well, I didn't know. I really enjoyed that. That was really, really nice. Thoroughly enjoyed that. So, Jericho.
Jericho.
It's a lovely ballad song.
It is a lovely ballad.
How do you think it would sound speeded up?
You know, I have never heard that, Ali. I don't know.
So, Charlie and I had a couple of, 3 months ago now. That's good English. And I like that. I'd gone to Charlie and said, Jericho is my favourite song in the whole world. And I said that I wanted to cover it.
That is high praise, or like a high bar to set.
You know I love that song.
The whole world?
It's my favourite song. You know that.
Wow, okay.
So Charlie said to me, right, yeah, of course, go away, try whatever you do, make it your own. Make it your own.
Yep.
And we took, with the aid of Ross, we took that ballad and turned it into a bit more country rock.
Yeah.
And it doesn't listen to you play it there.
Right.
And even though I know we've done it, I still don't think it's possible.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, 'cause, I mean, the way you've done it is like I say, it's a favourite song.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted you to do. But do me a favour.
Play from like the second verse.
Play from the second verse. Yeah. Right, because then you'll get an idea.
Oh, okay, you moved it down. You took it down too.
So yeah, I took that and turned it around and did it into something completely different because where Charlie has the voice of an angel, I got more the dirty gravelness of the devil, is probably the way to put it.
I would imagine the devil has a sultry voice.
Well, I don't have a sultry voice.
Clearly you're not the devil.
As I said earlier, responses from the crowd come later. Thank you very much. So, the story behind Jericho comes from the fact that you have a friend called.
I do have a friend called Jericho.
Now, here we go. This is going to lead you down a garden path, and when you get to the gate, it's going to be locked because the song is not about...
It's not about Jericho. Jericho thinks the song's about Jericho, but I've told her many times the song's not about you.
Who's it about?
The song is about me. You know, I'm an artist, I'm a narcissist. That's how this works. Every song's about me.
Yeah, and I suppose they go and Charlie doesn't fit. Charlie.
No,
it doesn't fit.
So it truly stemmed off there was a Mumford & Sons album that came out, Babel. Yeah. And they have a song called Babel, and in the song Babel, I was like, they are not describing Babel, they're describing Jericho, because it talks about marching around walls, and like, that's not what happened. So maybe do your research before you write a song about it. And
so wait. You're now sitting here slagging off an artist for singing a song about Jericho called Babel, yet you sang a song about Jericho that was about you.
Yeah, but it has the... Yes.
Yeah, okay, I was
exactly.
just checking.
That's
I just
exactly
wanted to...
what's happening. But at the same time, the references are not. I mean, the song Babel was about not being able to communicate with your significant other. But it uses Jericho references. Like story-wise.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, Jericho is about me. I wrote kind of, I would say half the chorus on the way home from this idea that I'd had. And I went back home and phoned up Evan, who's in the back, and we wrote it.
This is Evan, by the way. This is Charlie's songwriting partner as well. So, hi, Evan.
Hello.
All right, so Evan is 50% responsible.
Yes.
50%?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's like...
We do standard breaks.
Yeah, well, it's like word for a third in Nashville, isn't it? No. Yeah, you get a third of the money for just putting 2 words in.
But yeah, I went home, phoned him up, and said, I have this idea. We wrote a chorus, and then the song sat for a year. That was it. We wrote the chorus and did nothing with it. And then I came across it on a voice note one day. I was like, I forgot about this. Called him up again. I was like, you want to finish the song we never finished? We just wrote a chorus for. And so we wrote, I think, verse 1, and then I think it sat for 6 more months. And then verse 2. And it is what it is now. I mean, we barely touched the chorus after it had been done the first round. I think we changed a word or 2 here or there. And I tracked it very ill the first time I tracked it. And released it under a project I had at the time called the Charlie Rogers Band.
That's a good name. Where'd you get that from?
I don't know.
Do you know what people get confused with Charlie Daniels Band, though?
They surprisingly did not. I actually got Randy Rogers Band more.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But tracked it, put it out on an album or an EP called Photographs, which is, I think, where you found it initially.
That's where I found it, yeah.
And it was a song that I thought deserved better than it got. So I pulled the version from Photographs and re-recorded in its entirety.
Where was I going to go from Jericho? So, as I say, I met Charlie when I researched him, and it's a very, very strange thing for for apparently a grown man to go chasing a college student in the US.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, it could have gone a whole different way. I could have been on a list and a register and all sorts of things. But I mean, I fell in love with Charlie's music. We've become really good friends over the years, which has been amazing. A couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, actually, I keep forgetting the COVID years. Charlie came across.
Just kind of like you asked me how old I was earlier.
Yeah.
And my immediate response was 27.
He's
I was
not.
like, that's not
not true.
That's not right anymore.
He's sharing us, all right? Because she lies about her age all the time. So 3 or 4 years ago, you came across and you played a music festival in Stranraer called Parkfest.
I did.
And we were the band on before. I'm looking at the man in front of me because I was a singer in his band. But that's not what you told people, was it? You told people that I was a singer in your band. And that was such a monumental experience for me as well, because not only did I get to almost be your support, I got to introduce you as well.
Right.
And that was just after I'd gone through a massive change with my radio. I don't think it's on the list, but I'm going to ask you to do it all the same. You know that, and so I'm giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I decided I wanted to take.
You might want to wait until the next half.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Right. So I wanted to take ownership of.
Because you don't remember the chords.
My own show. Oh my goodness, this is so professional. I wanted to take ownership of my own radio show and take it away from the radio station that had it, because I wanted to syndicate it. So I decided what I was going to. I wanted a show with a name that meant something to me, and so I approached Charlie and said, "Can I use your song name?" So we'll do it when we come back from the break. But we'll do another song before we have a wee break.
Yep.
Yeah. I need to go back to my list, or I'll just pluck one from the sky.
There's not a list up there.
Freebird! Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, because that is on the list. Would you like Obliterated, James? And once again, I do say that comments from the crowd come later. Okay? So Obliterated, that's gone through a couple of imaginaries as well. There's actually a really good story behind Obliterated.
There are a lot of stories behind Obliterated. I had a former manager living in LA, and she, at the time,
was crazy.
Yeah, that too. At the time, she had an EDM act. In addition to me, she also had a rap act, who was also crazy. And she really wanted her artist to collab on this project. So I was sitting in her apartment with this guy called Danny, who's part of the band called the Delta Mode, and they're an EDM group out of Germany. And Danny and I are sitting there, and he's just plugging along on a track, and he's like, "All right, what do you want this to be?" And I said, "Well, I wrote the song," and I just handed him the song as is finished. And so he really put it on a shelf for about 2 or 3 years, and I got around to Medusa in Spain, and had befriended a guy named Hector Mas. And Hector is fairly big in Barcelona, and he's now got a residency in Vegas. He's doing well, which is good for him. But
no bitterness here.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, it's really good for him. Hector decided to. I decided to approach Hector and say, "I have the song that's just kind of been sitting here, and would love for you to take a swing at it and kind of put it in more of your style, and we would retrack vocals." And so he loved it and said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we tracked everything at Capitol Records. I don't know if you told that, which was a blast, and the first time I'd ever tracked anything at a label.
Cha-ting. That's the name being dropped.
I have a picture that I took, because the Capitol Records recording studio, well, one, they have a huge one in their basement. That's not the one we used, but they had a recording studio that was kind of a writing room that they use for demo work. And it was on the 8th floor, and they had this tiny little sliver window, and it overlooked all of Los Angeles. So I'd just have this little picture that's just the sliver window with LA at the back, with my mic in front. So we recorded at Capitol Records. We won it, and that was November? I know, yeah, but like, thank you. December 3, I don't remember.
Again, voices from the crowd come later.
And Evan also wrote on the second verse of it, so that's, I guess, worth a note. We recorded the song at Capitol in December-ish, and the plan was to have it out like early spring, so like February, March. And we ran into some difficulties because Danny decided he didn't want to be just like a writer name on the track, even though we completely redid the track. So we ran into like months of back and forth trying to get him satisfied with something to release this song. So it eventually came out, and the date in which it came out was March 20th, 2022. I was supposed to fly to Spain to premiere the song at a pretty big festival in Madrid. That naturally didn't happen. Well, I was supposed to go. I was like flirting with buying tickets, and this little COVID wave started rising up, and I was like, I don't really know if that's a good idea. So I let him. I was like, look, you can premiere the song. I'm not going to be there, so just play my voice out and do whatever. And he was fine with that. And then I'm glad I didn't go because I would have been stuck in Spain for like 3 months if I had gone. But Hector dropped the song, and Hector's main form of promotion is playing. Like he plays for like David Guetta and Steve Aoki, who are pretty big EDM names. He opens for them. And so his main form of promotion of music is playing it live, and he usually has like 5 or 6 gigs a night or a week. And without the ability to play it live, the song was kind of a little dead in the water. So I got around to saying, I have a really good friend of mine who actually just flew into Manchester, and she loves the song and was talking. She got talking. She's like, again, much like Jericho, I think this song needs a second life. So I did what I call a stripped or acoustic version of it, which we called minstrel country, because it sounds very. We used all acoustic instruments, so it's like mandolin, and I think there's some cello in there and stuff, but it's all just very springy, and it's EDM turned into country.
But it works.
But it does work, surprisingly. Yeah. And I released it to much success. First several months got over 100,000 streams on it completely independently. So, and your son's a fan of it.
My son
and
loves it.
And my niece and nephew are big fans of
James is a fan of it. That's why he's asked for it.
Yeah. So
we shall hear the strip. We're not going to play you the EDM version tonight. I know you're all disappointed by that. We're going to play the strip back.
Yeah.
The country version of Obliterated.
I actually did bring my DJ kit in, You didn't set that up. Oh, darn. It hit me like a grenade, shrapnel ripping through the promises we'd made, played it close to the chest. But the shards of us blew our love away. Somebody call triage, I need a medic, please. Got me searching for the pieces of my heart. Down on my knees, down on my knees, down on my knees. Got me searching for the pieces of my heart. It's been obliterated. It's been obliterated. It hit me like a grenade, shrapnel ripping through. With every word you say, change my world in a breath. When your jaws of love locked me in a grave. Somebody call triage, I need a medic, please. You got me searching for the pieces of my heart. Down on my knees, down on my knees, down on my knees. Got me searching for the pieces of my heart. It's been obliterated. It's been obliterated. there's no coming back from pain like this. Well beyond the point this could be fixed. There's no love after you love. I know time heals, but it's not enough. This is not a wound closed with a stitch. 'Cause my heart's been obliterated. It's been obliterated.
Okay, folks, we'll take a small 10-minute break. Let Charlie get some water and figure out why his voice is squeaking when he talks.
Puberty.
Hoobie. And we'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
If you found out by the grace of God that your enemy, then let's take that.